What is happening, y'all? Welcome on back. Let's bring this journey home.
Tell me, what do you imagine will befall this world now that you have gained your precious freedom?
I honestly don't know. But I doubt it will be pretty. A sorry tale of sin and suffering, hardship and pain.
And it was for this that you fought so fiercely? Why?
It's who we are. We fight. We survive. We endure. We don't need a reason. We are imperfect creatures. When we stumble, we reach for a shoulder to lean on. When we fall, we stand back up. We see the horizon, ever out of reach, and still we march on. Certain the answers lie just beyond it. Because that is our way.
My congratulations. Relish this victory, knowing that you have but delayed the inevitable. Your world is already dead. May you enjoy an eternity on its blackened husk.
What a dick. I'm guessing this is the new baby back at the, oh no, this is him looking at baby Joshua.
It seems Ultima's power was too great for this vessel all along. But while I have it, perhaps I can use it to set things right. And see Ultima's legacy. Bearers, dominance, crystals, magic, consigned to the flames. Even if it means the end of me. These are our terms.
I feel like you just had to destroy that little part in the middle and this whole thing probably would have died. I feel like what he has to do though, I wonder if we can use the magic to like return all the magic to the land, purge away the blight. Basically purge the blight and essentially remove any trace of magic from those who are born with it. So no more bearers, no more crystals, no more dominance, no more blight, and they just live. He's got just a poof left.
Aren't you the most beautiful thing?
He is, isn't he? What are you gonna call him?
Let me see, let me see. Oh, read little one. Got a smile for your Uncle Gav.
Not so loud, you burp.
What? I was only...
Shh, you're scaring him.
It's all right.
Oh.
A sky of scattered tears, 1,000 years apart. Should they fade, I will not be afraid of the dark. For your
If you need a rest, I can take him.
I'll hold you to that.
deep within my heart, showing
The world yours now. Yours to do with as you please. That's what Sid wanted. That's what they both wanted.
And thus did our journey end.
Man. I mean, I think we kind of expected an ending like this, but oh man, what a journey. So let's talk about it. I obviously reviewed this closer to lunch with only about 20 hours played, and here we are at the very end. I wonder, let's see, can I see, how do I check my playtime? Isn't it like right here? What do I see? 72 hours. Yeah, you could say I enjoyed it. my peers, at least to review games, a lot of people were saying they weren't as big a fan of the kind of how things go at the end, saying that it gets a little bit weird with Ultima. And it does. It definitely takes, I think, so here's the thing. Here's my thoughts. It's in the scope of Final Fantasy, the very mystic grandeur that we see, you know, look at 8. I don't remember 8's ending, but I remember it was like time manipulation, some crazy bullshit. 7, you have Sephiroth basically trying to destroy the planet. You know, this high fantasy theme is not uncommon for a Final Fantasy game. And so I think it fits here. At the same time, I think they did a really good job kind of setting the stage with the inter-kingdom politics and whatnot, and it gave the game a very Game of Thrones vibe, and that kind of gets you into it, and then it transitions to like, oh, well, there's a, you know, super mega puppet master man that's pulling all the strings behind the scenes. And I think that's what caught people off. I think if they had just kept this to where it builds up and Barnabas is the ultimate bad guy at the end, I think people would have liked it more possibly. But I understand the, like, you know, Ultima behind the scenes and whatnot. It makes sense for a Final Fantasy game. So I don't know. I think it could have gone either way, but I don't think I disliked it. In particular, the final battle with Ultima, where like he's summoning elements and you're summoning Eikons. That shit was awesome. That was so much fun to do. So I definitely had a lot of fun with it all the way to the end. Even if it did get a little weird at times. There are a couple things that I'm still not completely clear on. I don't know if I missed them when they were talking about it, but like the discussion of the Fallen, for example. The Fallen doesn't make sense to me completely. And one of my friends was like, yeah, we got a big Fallen lore dump. And I'm like, when? Where? I don't remember a Fallen lore dump. Because from my understanding of the story, Ultima, their planet got bunked. He came here. They put his homies in the Mothercrystals to gather aether, send it into Origins so that they could cast the spell. I guess were the Fallen just the people that originally prayed to Ultima back in the murals? Like, was that in a side quest and I just glossed over it at some point and wasn't paying enough attention? I don't know. From a lore perspective, one of the only things I really don't understand is why Joshua kept himself hidden from Clive for so long. I don't get it, because all the way back when shit went down with Romelu, he came in, we sealed him, and he imprisoned the Ultima, which I'm glad that got cleared up, that there's Ultimas, and he had just gotten one. But it doesn't make sense to me that he was like so focused on like avoiding Clive for so long, and then like when they were finally together, like, shit's great, let's work together towards this outcome. But like I don't get why he, you know, I guess maybe because his quest was focused on Ultima and he knew Clive was focused on inter-kingdom politics and he didn't want to, you know, bring that into the fold since he had to focus on Ultima at the time. But I would have liked that explained. But in general, I had a blast with this story. The characters, dude, the supporting cast in this grows on you so much. Like Gav is just awesome. I love Gav. I love Uncle Byron. Uncle Byron, every scene Uncle Byron is in is fantastic. I think my favorite is when they're at the inn and like you can tell shit's about to go down. He's like chugging the soup and finishing his beer real fast, and then he goes and gets behind Clive. He's like, yeah, my boy will take you on. Like, that shit was so funny to me. I'm like, this old man is the best. So like the characters, the world, just loved it. In terms of the level design, I do think the more I guess constructed areas versus things being full open world kind of, I mean, the 15 wasn't full open world, but it was as close as I think we'll get. And at times it almost felt like you were just kind of wandering like, oh, well, I got to go from point A to point B. And that was it. Whereas here, every time you were in a zone, it felt more condensed. It felt like there was more to do. I will say at times once you got the Chocobo, especially with the amount of side quests, I did start just kind of being like, okay, let me beeline to this objective. Whereas when I was on foot, I was definitely exploring a lot more. But I think the beeline kind of helped, because early on I remember I was curving in and out of maps, hitting everything. And, you know, I'd be like, ooh, what's that shiny? 2 gil. You know, and that was kind of like, all right, well, I don't know if I really want to go out of my way for the shinies anymore. When I run over and I'm getting 2 pieces of gil or like a single potion or something. So I definitely think loot in the world could have been better. It was just kind of, you know, just lackluster for the most part. And it threw me off because like, occasionally we'd find a chest that had like a new sword in it. And then the next chest would be like, here's some crafting mats that you're never going to fucking use. And I don't know. I feel like they could have done a better job there. You know, gear in particular, I feel like a lot of the amulets and talismans and whatnot, just, you know, hey, here's 6 seconds off of a 60-second cooldown. I'm like, I don't care. I'm not going to use that. You know, so in terms of gear didn't really have much of an impact for me. And I've actually seen this being a big point of discussion. People being like, oh, well, God of War is more of an RPG than Final Fantasy. And, you know, while the gear wasn't there, I think the level of combat customization with like picking which iconic abilities you wanted, I think that helped to elevate it. I think that's what I'm viewing as my RPG element here, not necessarily the gear, because the gear is not going to do a whole lot to change Clive's playstyle. It's more about what icons I want to work with. That's going to be what determines my playstyle. So I do think more could have been done with gear and just with loot in general with the world. But I wouldn't go as far as to say I was like incredibly dissatisfied with it. I just kind of, I think I didn't put as much weight in it because I enjoyed the icon customization so much. Sound design, I don't really have anything to say about sound design. I mean, it's phenomenal, obviously. It's been a long time since I have outright purchased the OST for a game, and this is a game I'm probably going to get the OST for because the music is phenomenal. They did such a good job. Soken just absolutely knocked it out of the park. Like I think one of the big ones that stood out to me is like there was that like foreboding theme that, like, you know, the last time I remember playing was when we like got into the village with all those people that basically wanted to become a Kashik, and it's like every time you just heard that song start playing, you're like, oh man, this is the shit's gonna go down song. But like there's so many little songs like that just stood out to me in this game, and I loved it. God, I mean, like, I don't know. This is still, obviously, I said this was a 10 out of 10 in my initial review, and it still is. This is, now that I'm finished, this is still my game of the year. You know, there's a couple of contenders that could come up. You know, possibly Armored Core for me personally. Starfield could be really good, but like as it stands right now, out of everything we've had in 2023, this is my game of the year. This is an experience. Like, that's the thing. Like, I mean, God of War Ragnarok, just thinking another big AAA PlayStation game, you know, it was a ton of fun to play that game, going through the hardest fights, playing in the hardest difficulty. You know, I had a blast with that, but when I think back to it, like, I'm not ever sitting around being like, oh yeah, Ragnarok blew me away. Like, I had a ton of fun in Ragnarok. It was super, super fun, but it was still just a game. Whereas this felt like a fucking experience, man. It, like, and the thing is, a lot of people, you know, you're either going to be on board with a game like this or you're not. I know it's a lot of cutscenes and a lot of dialogue, but like, man, you want to talk about a game engrossing you in a world? Like, they did a hell of a job. Oh man, I can't believe we're finally at the end. It's been, God, 70 plus hours for a first playthrough. Let's see, is there... Alright, I'll hold X, we'll make this speed up a little bit, and see if there's any post-credit cutscenes, but... Yeah, I mean, this was... I love this. I loved every second of this. I'm trying to think if I had, like, any actual complaints. I mean, the loot, I mentioned, loot could have been better. And, like, little things in the environment, like, the 2 gil, shit like that, they didn't need to do that. You could have had proper gil. But yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot that, like, immediately stands out to me as like, this is wrong. Like, I don't know. It's not often that I have a game where I just want to you know, it's rare that I take a game and I'm like, oh yeah, I can play through 70 hours of this and not miss a beat.
Will you light it?
Yes, Mother. Come on. If only I had the flames of an Eikon.
Eikon? Have you been reading that silly story again? Magic belongs in fairy tales, and fairy tales don't boil kettles.
Wow. So there's a world without
See?
magic now.
Well done. Now, be a good lad, and play with your brother until supper.
Come on, hurry. Hurry. All right.
I guess there's no magic at all now. No icons, no crystals. What about the Blight? Did the Blight reseed? I mean, these people are certainly
Right,
living
let's
happily.
play the saint in the secretary. No, I don't want to be magic. What do you want to play then? War of the Eikons. Again? Oh, right. Did I get to be a freak? Right, I'm the older brother. Because the hermit says so.
Or how much farther in the future that's supposed to be. Like, it's very sappy, but I kind of want like a, where are they now? You know, I want something that touches on everybody and where they're at. What happened to everybody? New Game Plus is now available from the title screen. The option allows you to start a new game with player and item data carried over from a previously completed playthrough. The gameplay mode Final Fantasy is now available for use exclusively with New Game Plus. Increase enemy strength and increase player level cap up to 100. New gear and items, mode exclusive content. It's recommended for players who want to test their limits. I just realized I didn't do the. So if I select this, what is this? Where does this load me in? Okay, so it loads me in immediately before back to their origin. I was gonna say I didn't do the thingies on the map. These guys, which I mean that's something I would do on a stream anyway. That or New Game Plus. I know folks were asking if I had any intents on playing Final Fantasy mode. Honestly, maybe. It just depends because we have. God, there's so much coming on deck. I mean. Let me see if I can do the math on episodes. So with the amount of episodes I have, this will be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And the series will end on a Friday. And if my math is correct, it would wrap up on like the 29th. So at that point, I'll probably already be streaming the new Diablo season. Remnant 2 will be out. Maybe I'll do episodes of Remnant 2? I don't know, because then we have Baldur's Gate 3 right around the corner. I mean, there's so many games coming, it's going to be challenging, but right now, it's only the 6th of July, so I've earned myself a rest before my next super heavy recording session. Either way, this has been a hell of a journey. I appreciate y'all coming on this journey with me, and hopefully you come back for whatever's next.